so this is Classic's build. Oh boy, I just scored another drop. Yay. Watching my own stream for 4 hours. What do you know? Okay. So Classic is oh. It looks like he's trying to talk.
No, I'm not. It's just flickering.
Okay.
How is my voice better now?
No, but we can run with it. Don't worry about it. I think we can still hear at least. Chat, can you guys hear him okay?
I think it's okay.
How about now? There's various things to turn up the volume here.
It's quieter. But chat says they can hear you okay.
Okay, I'll try to speak up.
No problem. So, this is the Leningrad. Now, before we get to the build, I always like to say, let's focus in on, what the ship's about. So, Leningrad is a good, kind of I like to call it a hybrid destroyer. She's got good guns. She's got decent concealment, not great. She's really fast. And her torpedoes have good range to it. It's a jack of all trades kind of a destroyer. Some people love her, and some people hate it. Comes down to what you do with it. But much like when we talked about Grunty's replay earlier in the New Tsushima, this ship can absolutely be used as a torpedo boat or as a gunboat primarily. So, let's go.
It's like a Minsk, but with longer range torpedoes.
I'm sorry, say that again?
trade-off is, I said it's like a Minsk, but with longer range torpedoes.
Mhm.
But I think something about the guns is worse. The turret traverse and maybe the range too. I'm not 100% sure.
So,
The turret traverse is pretty bad.
yes.
They're about the same.
Yeah, the turret traverse is kind of so keep that in mind. And you can see that Classic is compensating for that with the main battery mod 2. So that works. Other things, main armaments mod 1, engine and protection, and propulsion. Those are all things you'd absolutely want to have on this ship.
And
So-
I've got Kuznetsov as well.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I've got Kuznetsov as well.
Ah, okay. We sometimes call him
Kuznetsov.
Opizov or Quechzov, but he's a good dude for this sort of thing. So let's take a look at your build. You've got grease the gears for even more turret traverse, makes sense. Preventive maintenance, last stand, survivability, concealment, that's the core build. Now you have chosen to build this ship for guns. You can see Fearless Brawler, Adrenaline Rush, and main battery and anti-air specialist. Now you did not go for gun range. Do you find you don't need the range ever?
I don't. Normally I don't, no.
Okay.
It's just so fast I can get it a little closer than a lot of other destroyers and not worry about getting hit.
Got it. What's your range
have-
here?
It's not that great. 11.5, I think.
There it is, at the very top.
I have like the same build, but without the Fearless Brawler, and instead I took the range.
Okay.
Again, you have the smoke,
Mhm.
so you're not only shooting open water in this ship. I
Right.
really dislike the combination of Fearless Brawler on a ship that has smoke.
I know we talked through that before, but the nice thing about this ship is, especially when you have concealment built into it, right? It gets down to 6.6. Now that doesn't seem like a big deal at tier 8, but if you're in a tier lock situation or obviously top tier, 6.6 kilometers is pretty good. There's a few destroyers that will
Nah.
defeat that, but it's pretty good.
It's not really good at tier 7. It's pretty
Really?
bad.
Why?
It's
Yeah.
bad. It's pretty bad at tier 7 for a lot of other boats, but it's a gunboat, and when you get in, if you're going destroyer 1v1, it's pretty good.
And that's the
Pretty
point I'm
much.
trying to make.
Picking
Pretty
choosing
much
your battles.
everything is better at tier 7 than 6.6.
True,
French
but I'm not
destroyers?
worried about
Like it
concealment.
needs-
I'm choosing my battles against destroyers, so
Mhm.
I'm not worried about concealment when I'm gunning down another destroyer.
Right.
You said French destroyers. A Vauquelin has the same concealment as this.
Okay. Which other ones are there out there? I mean, obviously the British probably are better.
The
Like
Germans are better.
Germans is better. Mayhem is better. Actually, the German one is, I think, on par.
Okay.
Yeah, Z39.
The mass is
Z39
actually
is
a bit worse.
6.6.
Yeah, C39 is a premium. I was thinking about the Z31 and like the mass.
Okay.
It-
I
it-
played
Mass is worse.
when I played the ship, even in ranked before, I never felt like my concealment was a problem. I never felt like I couldn't
I
get
mean, it might
someplace.
not be a problem, but it's definitely on the bad side for tier 7.
Now,
It's not good.
as was mentioned just a minute ago by Classic, the nice thing about this is it gives you the ability to choose whether to go into that fight with whatever is spotting you or not. The other thing is with the where is it here? With the max speed of 45 knots. I mean, if you're going straight at a destroyer that's coming right at you, you can be in a Haida and you're still going to get spotted before both ships have a chance to kind of change. So, I think this is fine. I mean, if you're gonna build mainly for killing another destroyer, then Fearless Brawler makes perfect sense because you want that extra reload for your main battery. Although I can see Grunty's argument that going for range would help. That would get you up to almost 14 kilometers.
Is that trained for another Tactric destroyer?
Let's see. I can't remember. I think it's Podvoisky.
Okay.
You have Kuznetsov on the Podvoisky?
Yep,
Why?
because I like playing Podvoisky.
Okay.
But it's not even good there. Like, but seriously, like, Kuznetsov doesn't even do stuff there.
Grunty, it works for me. It
Yeah.
really does.
And if it works for
Like,
you, it works for you.
For,
That's
for the
fine.
first blood, for the extra consumable?
I mean, it comes in
Well,
handy there. If he's in a gunfight, a
The
protracted
turret
gunfight.
traverse is, yeah.
Kuznetsov does not have a buff turret
Oh,
traverse.
it's not that one. Yep.
That's
You're
what I
thinking of
said. Like,
Ovechkin.
if anything, like for example, I'm using Znamensky on my Leningrad for the buff turret traverse. That's what I was suggesting instead of Kuznetsov.
Okay. The nice thing is, it's a premium ship, right? So,
I may be
Classic-
wrong. It may be Znamensky I've got on it because I do remember having the buff turret traverse.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. It could also be Oven Chicken,
That-
because Oven Chicken has
that-
buffed that and
No,
extra
I know I don't
missile.
have oven chicken on that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, Znamensky, I totally understand. That makes perfect sense. I'm doing the same thing.
yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Oh, whatever.
Kuznetsov, not so much.
Hey, it can still work. I played Kuznetsov on my Leningrad before. You know, when you're in a gunfight, you get really low. That extra heal, and that time when it's harder for you to be hit, it makes sense. And then for signals, you've got anti-det, you've got flooding chance. I'm surprised you didn't take the other fire chance flag.
I
Fire
was running
reduction.
low on those.
Got it. And hey, that happens. Fire reduction is also a good one to take for this, but you got speed, you got consumables, smoke consumable action time. It's okay. I might not run this one and maybe go with anti-air or something instead, but it's okay.
And
Alright.
here is wasted. Leningrad AA is absolute garbage.
Yeah, but it makes you feel like it's a little bit less garbage, right?
No, 5% more from 0 is still 0.
20,000 credits might make you feel better, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. Not using the flag, that would make me feel better.
All right, well, let's get into the
Mhm.
replay then. Hey, congratulations, Classic. You found yourself a Tier 9 battle.
Oh, I love this ship at tier 9.
Oh, really?
At
Why
tier
is that?
9,
Well, I think that the speed and the way I play it, you'll see here kind of, and you can make comments on that, of course, but I don't mind being a bottom tier in this ship, period.
I wouldn't necessarily mind it either, but I'd still want that range.
Yeah, in tier 9s, you definitely want that extra range.
Mm-hmm. Would give you the ability to maybe disengage a little bit easier. Sure, understandable.
The firepower threat's much higher, and there's a couple of ships with railguns that you really don't want to be targeted by.
Yeah.
That
Like-
extra range will help you.
You
Yeah,
mean like the
Donskoy is
Talon?
like Talon and Donskoy.
I mean, you just have to look like the new Italian cruisers, for example. They have railguns.
Yeah, but look at this match. This is ideal. This is ideal
Okay.
matchmaking for being bottom tier.
Gunboats thankfully aren't that affected by matchmaking. You just play range, hide behind your other destroyers, and go pew pew for a couple minutes.
Right. Alright, the cap is being taken now. So, you can absolutely stay here, you just have to be ready to hit W and run.
Honestly, I wouldn't stay here. What's the point?
Now
You know
watch
what, I
the
would-
Santander come in. Watch the Santander. I'm watching to see what he does,
Okay.
and he makes it easy for me to make a choice.
So, what I might have done there, since you were on the extreme edge of the B cap, I might have gotten out of B for just a little bit of time, and then gone back into B, because you want to encourage the enemy ship to stay in the cap.
Дымогенератор запущен.
Oh, you're
What
smoking
I
for
would-
him.
Двигатель
What I would
I
do
wouldn't
is
stay
actually
here
just
because...
yes, you're basically in a tour plane of the Santander.
You were also generally in the cold top lane for everybody entering that cap. Like, and if that wasn't Olan in the middle, for example, these tops would have been in the water
Установка
a
дымов
long time
завершена.
ago.
Grunty knows
Like- all
all about being in torpedo lanes, let me tell you.
Yep, been there, done that. Just
What I
watch the
would've-
VOD.
Alright,
What I would have
so,
done is gone to F4 and instead let the Santander just go into the cap. He'll block it. If he wants to radar, that's nice. Then you're in a position to potentially hit the destroyer behind the B island.
okay. Gives you the ability to run around a little bit here. This is also, you have to be careful, this is also a decent tour plane as well. But I agree with you there, and that's why I think going out and then back, so you want to encourage whatever's here to stay. Honestly. And you can see that they've left, so that's fine. You get a free cap now, assuming they haven't torpedoed your smoke.
Yeah. Also, you have to be mindful if you're when giving smoke like that. You only have 3 smokes, and you just threw one, and you just used one, and you're not going to get any use out of it, honestly.
Торпеды слева по борту. Торпеды прямо по
Look,
курсу.
torpedoes. Okay, so look what happened. That's the Benson that got spotted, and now they luck chuck torpedoes. Okay, the radar from the Santander pushes him off the cap, which is important because it's going to let you get the cap. Once you get the cap, get out of there. There's no need to stay there. You're going deeper.
Yeah. Unfortunately, because you don't have that smoke, it's not safe to engage the battleships.
He can't. Like, he doesn't even have the range.
He does.
Well,
I was
if he
there.
had extra range, he could do it.
But he
But-
doesn't.
Yeah, it makes it a lot more dangerous.
It does. Buffalo is radaring now, so you might as well open up. That's fine. Here you used
Yep.
your engine boost already, and now you really wish you had it.
Двигатель в штатном режиме.
Oof. Benson dies. Up at sea. I can't swim. We haven't gotten record heat up here in the Chicago area. It's been pretty hot, but it's not terrible. The range would help here, obviously, for shooting at the Iowa, but it's alright.
Wait, you're based out in Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, I'll be heading back there this year in December.
Nice.
Any spots worth checking out, like restaurant-wise?
Well, I'm a big pizza person myself, as you know. So, I always like to go to Gino's East in Chicago. You can go to other places too, of course, but that's where it is for me. Lou Malnati's is nice too. Yes, the famous Lord Zath Pizza Parlor. That's right. Now, I do like
so
to...
when,
Go ahead,
on.
SAT.
So yeah, that lack of range means you weren't able to hit the Iowa properly afterwards. So, well, granted, you won't be able to do that much impact anyways, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes just having that extra range lets you play safer, especially since you don't have that speed boost active.
You know what I like to do with that range, and this might be an acquired taste for you, Classic, but what I like to do is piss off battleships with my Russian destroyer and get them to shoot me instead of my teammates. So, for me, that extra range helps me, accomplish that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's what it's all about, right? If you're not fighting enemy destroyer, if there's none left, you want to harass the battleships and farm them, but
Yep.
So,
You did a
11
good
and a
job
half, it's kind of risky.
Yeah, you did a good job locking onto that Benson when he decided to reveal himself for some reason.
yeah.
Got a few good hits off. So
Mm-hmm.
you're making an impact, but well, I guess we'll see what happens here.
Yep. Torpedoes will miss. As I say that as the Iowa... Or, no, that was the Buffalo takes one. The other thing, too, at max range, especially ships like the Buffalo, you can absolutely just ruin their day, because you can shoot them and hit them because you're great ballistics, and they really struggle to hit you at range,
At the same time,
At this
you're
point
the
here,
only
I
one
know
that's
there's
spawning.
I know there's another destroyer out here too, and I'm hunting for him.
Okay, yeah, the
Plus,
Oland
plus,
is
I,
out here.
plus, plus I know that the battleships and the Buffalo has got their turrets pointed somewhere else.
You're hunting for a destroyer with 0.5, 0.6 superior concealment.
And better DPM than you. And more ships to back him up.
The last statement is my real concern. Buffalo, Iowa, Monarch, Pommern, Buffalo, Benson, Oland. That's 8 ships. And you've got 4. Okay. That's a to me that
Not
feels
for
tough to
one
take,
squad.
but
Yeah. Like, I'd only take this engagement if you really need to get something done. But your team is not far behind. If you look at C, your team is about to take C. It'll take a few minutes, but they have C cap effectively done.
right. So what you're
So
doing right
you-
now is this is a holding action, right? This isn't meant to do a whole lot. You're just trying to slow the enemy team down, right?
Well, I know that I
Yep.
keep throwing torps into the cap and slow them down. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
That's fine and all, but I don't think you're anywhere near torping range right now.
I'm not in torping range, but they know I'm there, and as long as they see torps coming at them occasionally, they're going to be cautious.
I mean,
Yep.
I get that. I completely get that. Iowa here. It'd be nice if you had the range to shoot him. You don't, but whatever. Olin detected. Okay, so here we go. Here we go.
Дымогенератор запущен.
Using your smoke. I might also use my engine boost to slow down quicker. Unfortunately, you're the one spotting him, so now you're going to just have to hit W and get out of there.
Yeah,
you wanna
this
sit
is
there.
not. Yeah, this is not safe here.
Торпеды справа по борту.
Установка дымов завершена.
What happened with the
Torpedo
Olin?
прямо по
Oh,
курсу.
okay. So you dodged his torpedoes at least. Pommern DCP'd 1 fire? Okay.
We left DCP in 1 fires here.
Oh, it's great. Absolutely stay on the Pommern. Nope, you're on the Iowa now. I would have stayed on the Pommern and get another fire going, then switch.
If you want to hyper optimize it, you can fire on Iowa for about 2 salvos before going back to Palmer.
Because of his DCP immunity?
Correct.
Yeah.
But as I said, that's hyper optimizing it. It
Right.
means you also have to readjust your aim. So if you want to keep firing at him, that's perfectly fine.
Right, and if you see, the Pomeranian actually turned away, so if you had flipped by the time you get back, might be out of your range.
We got super lucky here that the Olan, for whatever reason, did not decide to push your smoke.
He chose not to charge, yeah.
If that Olan charges you, you're
Иди в
just done.
форсированном режиме.
He chose poorly.
Well, I mean, you know, it's difficult to know when it's time to be aggressive in a destroyer and try to force something to happen.
Торпеды за кормой.
Yeah, the red team needs to force something to happen because they have 8 ships here.
Торпеды
It's
за
on
кормой.
them to push out and regain map control. But
So,
if Olan wants to learn that, he needs to send a replay.
that's right,
Olan
so it
is
looks like,
probably pure top boat and doesn't realize he has guns.
well, I mean, Olin, to be fair, only has 2 guns. So,
So
I can, well, I
they
mean,
it got recently got buffed even on the guns. They reload now super quick.
okay. I'm just saying, like, when I ground the Oland, I focused primarily on torpedoes. I didn't really gunboat with it, unless I absolutely needed to.
Your positioning's not bad, so maybe he was afraid of just getting dunked on by the enemy ships.
At this point, I actually might turn southward again and look to bump faces with that Oland. Because most of his help is turning away and running. 2 Pomerans, or say the Pomeran Iowa leaving, Monarch leaving, pretty much gonna die.
So what I'm anticipating here is them to go wide, and I'll
Mhm.
just hang out here and shoot at them as they come around the islands.
Oh, speaking of which,
Okay.
your positioning, you could have stayed on the 1 line and more on the G or H square.
Yeah, I thought about that as well too after I looked at this again.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about, right? The opportunity to turn south again and try to get, like, on the side behind him.
Destroyer DPM is not very high, so you generally have to be consistently fighting in order to maximize your firepower.
Двигатель в штатном режиме.
Hey, look, there's the Iowa. I would 100% switch to guns and just finish him off. There you go. Colonel Nasty, why can't you win? What do you mean?
Dogman probably just rigged the drawings against Colonel Nasty.
Okay. There you go. With the fire. And you got a torpedo hit as well as the Monarch. Nice.
Report Hawk for stealing your double kill there.
Oh, you were asking about the duck,
Absolutely.
gotcha. So this is a classic example of the enemy team all going someplace and then getting scared and running away. And
that
that
was horribly played by the red team.
Yeah, that gave you the win. 100% gave you the win.
They had a massive advantage at this cap, and they blew it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, why
They
hit the battle
funneled-
button if you're afraid to battle?
It's not that they were afraid, they just got bottled up in that channel there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they did not know how to push out and avoid a crossfire. And your team is like, oh, we're shooting ships in a barrel. Easy points.
Yep. There's the Olin.
They were
Okay.
probably all waiting for that Olan to get rid of the destroyer that was stopping them from pushing, and the Olan never did it.
That is very true, and that's the power of destroyers and why it's important for destroyers to be in the front and spotting and not in the back trying to luck chuck torp at long range. Okay, well, despite all this happening, if you look at your team setup, you're actually down on a ship now.
Yeah. And this Olin still doesn't want to fight until I push out a little further.
I mean, hey, if he doesn't want to fight you, fine. Go farm his battleships, or go kill the Benson. I wouldn't worry about the
Yeah,
Olin.
I'm trying to lock up this cap at first, just before I start shooting again.
I mean, that's smart. I agree with that.
I would be careful pushing out like this.
Двигатель в форсированном
Your
режиме.
back is to the island. Not a good time. Not a good place to fight.
In other words, you have less maneuverability. Here, you could actually hold off on shooting your guns. Oland was shooting at you earlier, so I might have actually held off here, just so that you could wait for an opportunity just to open up on the Benson alone.
Yeah. It's 10 kilometers. It's not a very easy ship to hit. I'd let the Riga take it.
Is he shooting AP too?
The Oland is, looks like.
Oh, that's
must be
a
a-
stock hole on this. Oh my
He might be an old Shimakaze player. Don't
Benson just detonated. Ouch. Is Benson good? She's a fun ship. I'd say she's pretty strong at tier 8.
Benny, my boy.
She's slightly above average, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
She tends not to do well, mostly because a lot of beginner players play her. But if you get a good player into her, you'll see the potential of a well-rounded hybrid ship.
So, 3 battleships Oland on the enemy team versus your 2 battleships and you.
You could have AP'd the broadside of the Iowa there.
Yeah.
Russian destroyers especially are very good with broadside AP. So always take advantage when you can.
Yeah, I can understand though. Like for me, I probably would have just switched to HE here or kept with it, trying to get a fire.
I would have also stuck with the HE. to be
If you're
honest.
closer, then you can pen the bow or stern, and then you get really good stuff. Oh, you got smoke up. Okay, that works. There's your fire.
That's actually fine. But yeah, AP would have actually finished him off a little bit faster, just because you're able to pen the upper belt as well, and I think he had that slight angle before he turned away.
Well, I'm just
Yeah,
surprised nobody's commented about my aim. My aim was sucking this game for some
I
reason.
felt-
I wasn't hitting what I was aiming at.
I felt like it was okay. The thing is, going back to what SAT was saying with your shell choice, once the Iowa switched or used DCP on that fire, I absolutely would have switched to AP there, because you know there's what 20 seconds of immunity.
20 at least.
Yeah.
I generally don't comment on aim unless it's absolutely like you should absolutely be hitting these shells.
Like, in a matter of destroyers versus other ship types, it's not as crucial with aim as long as you're just hitting your shots, whether it's HE or AP. In fights with destroyers, it's much more prudent that your aim is good, because you need to make every ounce of health count.
Destroyers still need to target specific sections. Like for cruisers and battleships, you can only hit their superstructure. I would actually argue cruisers have the easiest time hitting.
Right. Okay, so Pomeranz in B. You could YOLO charge him. The concern if you do that, if he's got Hydra on, there's a problem there. You are winning on points as long as the Olin does not get into A.
Торпеды за кормой.
It's just a hold my beer moment. It very well could be.
Yeah, you're perfectly fine. Just go for the YOLO.
Торпеды слева по
If you
борту.
wanna be safe, you just go into the A cap. If the Yolan goes for A, you just kill it because he's
Unfortunate.
proven that he's bad,
Unfortunate, yep.
Неполадки
or you
устранены.
just YOLO that cruiser here. But blocking this cap here is not doing you any good.
I mean, you're at 993, so all you need is what, another 9 seconds? And you're
Yeah, I was just really waiting for
I mean,
the
yeah,
Pomeranz to do
sure,
something.
but he doesn't need to sit in this cap for that to happen. He could just
No.
leave.
I agree. I completely agree with you there, Grunty. I'm just simply saying, like, the way that the battle is unfolding, you know.
I'm triggered
Alright.
by that Olan player. That was so bad.
But well, Classic, you were going to say something, sir?
No, I was just playing it safe here. I was expecting after the torps for the Olin to come back, and he did, but it was too late to do anything about it.
Now, if the Oland went to the
absolutely.
A cap, this would have been a different battle, because then you'd be screwed. You'd have to deal with the Palmer. But
Yeah.
Not necessarily. The
Could
points
still
was
go
so
just for
yeah.
could
The
still
point
just go
difference
for A
was
and
like
kill the Oland.
My
You
plan
could
was that
still
if the
AFK, actually.
Olin was going into A, I would head between A and B and reset the Pommern and then go after the Olin.
okay.
Think of it this way: the enemy. Okay, so even if you AFK'd right there, you were still up like 900 to 400 points. You only
Mhm.
had under 3 minutes to play. The enemy can only gain about 300 points in that meantime, so they would have to kill literally everyone in order to win. So points was never a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, like just sitting in that B cap trying to block it was probably the riskiest play of all because you open up yourself to getting torpedoed like you did.
Honestly, I wasn't trying to block it. I was waiting to see what the enemy was going to do, and I was going to let them make the move and let me react to it.
Well, you don't have to sit within spotting distance in case the Palmer decides to
No,
yellow out.
no,
Right.
I probably should have done what I thought I was going to do originally, which was move out towards A.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like you want to put yourself in a position where yes, you're holding the Pommern back, and I think I was surprised that Palmer didn't come out. I think you really
Yeah,
scared him with your
I was
presence.
expecting them to.
So
Yeah,
I
he
think
should have known
that's
that I had my torps off. He saw my torps and he knew I didn't have another set for a bit.
when some people when they play or when they think about their opponents, they play based off what could happen, not what's actually what the intelligence they have available tells them. So I think that's an example of that. He's afraid of you torpedoing him, even YOLO charging him. He probably was backing up even with Hydroactive, waiting for you to just charge him. And he never did because there was no reason to.
Yeah, he'd rather hide in the back rather than go all out and at least have a try to win. But that's his
Especially when you're in
problem.
the top tier battleship, right?
Yeah.
Now, I will say this classic, if you go back and watch, there were several cases where having that range probably would have helped you more so than the Fearless Brawler perk. So you may want to consider, since this is a premium destroyer, trying to build one of your other 21 point captains with range instead and see what you like about it, if it works or not,
I would especially since it's the Podvoisky captain, I would just respec it. Podvoisky has terrible range. Getting the extra range there would be super beneficial.
Yeah, I'll probably do that. I'll give it a try. The thing is this, and this is where I get stuck on a lot, which is both the Podvoisky and the Leningrad. I do really well in as far as you know being able to influence a game, and so for me, if it works, I kind of just stick with it. But
Yeah.
I'll give this a try. I'll give range a try.
The nice thing, like I
Oh.
said, because it's a premium ship, you can do that with another 21 pointer and it doesn't cost you anything. Try it. And then if you
Yeah.
like it, you can spend the doubloons or Commander XP later to respec or wait for free respec, event or whatever. So
Yeah, I've got a lot of commanders and probably 14 million commander XP that I can mess with, so that's not an issue.
exactly. So, hey, you sent in the replay, we gave you feedback. Try it if you want. I'm excited to see you play. I know you took a break for a while, so it's good to see you back, man.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm a bit rusty, especially I guess in aiming.
Eh, I don't see too much of a problem with aiming.
No.
Like, we shooting
I'm-
the fence at 10 kilometers, he has to run into your shells.
oh yeah, I mean it's just my previous when I was playing more, I was a lot better.
Of
Just
course.
a little bit disappointed in myself. So
Hey, don't worry about it. You'll get back to it. I mean, you saw me playing earlier today. I haven't played since, what, Sunday? So,
I play a lot and my aiming is dog shit.
It's
and
alright.
I think
Everyone's
now
aim
I
is
can't put this
terrible.
on YouTube. Thank you, Grunty, so much.
Moving right along.
What did I say?
You swore.
Yeah, he said it's dog S.
Oh, come on.
Anyway, look, I mean, towards the end, there were some parts I was concerned about. If the Palmer came out, would have been a problem for you. He didn't. Your other two battleships had the wherewithal to not go out and you know, get themselves blasted. So that's great on them, right? I think it's a fine battle. You're tier 7, can't expect to do everything at once, but you know, we talked through like here at the early part, staying at B like that, kind of concerning. You got lucky that the Benson Torps went right in front of you instead of onto you, you know. Yeah, but you know what? You made it work, so there you go. And you came in first by a good margin.
That's one of the benefits of being bottom tier.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So for those of you guys that don't know what that means is the low, if you're on bottom tier, you get a bonus to the XP earnings in the game because you're hitting, damaging, destroying ships that are typically of a higher tier than you. So if Classic was, if let's say this was the same exact battle, everything was the same except the tier 8 ships were tier 6 instead, and the tier 9 ships were tier 5 instead. Classic might very well have been at the top of the scoreboard, but nowhere, but not by as much of a gap. Yeah, the Red Fleet going to IJ line, I know, right? And then like they felt very confident, and then all of a sudden they didn't feel confident. You could see what happens. Iowa runs away, Pommern runs away. And then your other two ships just go for it. They died.
Well, yeah, not all of them realized, wait a minute, we could just go back to our own spawn. Why didn't we think of this before?
Mm-hmm. Pay special attention to the opening credits. Alright, well, is there anything else to mention for this replay, you guys think, or are we good to move on?
I got nothing more.
Oh, come on.
Well, we do have another one of your replays coming up, Classic,
Is this,
so
did you pick the Cossack?
you got it.
Okay, yeah. Cossack's my favorite tier 8 ship.
Perfect. Alright, well, I'll tell you what. We're going to go to Stream Raiders for a